Welcome to Teaching Orchestra. In this video, I'm going to be giving you some of my thoughts on how to improve your orchestra's intonation when teaching Crossing Pirates Cove by Deborah Baker Monday. If you watched my last video and made it to the end, you probably saw my long rant about contest scores and how I got 2'd on stage the last time I took Crossing Pirates Cove to a contest back in 2014. And I think I've learned from my mistakes. And in this episode, I'm going to be reflecting upon my past experience and how I've improved. Now, the first thing I do is make a foundation for tone. I've taken a data-driven approach to teaching, and tone influences everything, especially intonation. Now, with statistical modeling, it shows a correlation, and the numbers don't tell you why they're correlated, but we can pretty much guess why that is, and especially when we tune to the low sounds of the ensemble. Are the students able to make quality sounds on the lower strings, the G string and the cellos, the A string on the basses? Yes, there's an open A in Crossing Pirates Cove. Do your bass players make good tone on the open A string? How about the D string? Are they making pillow tone? And what is pillow tone? It's like when a drummer puts a pillow inside of their bass drum to muffle the sound. Well, when a bass guitar in your jazz band plays with what they call pillow tone, what do? They play a lot closer to the fingerboard, right? So that's how they play with pillow tone. They pick away from the bridge. And what do your bass players play? Do they play above the fingerboard, or they play in a more traditional bowing lane? If your bass players are playing 4 to 6 inches above the fingerboard, they're playing with pillow tone. All right, this guy, Francois Rabath, look him up. He's a great double bass soloist, and he focuses on something called the son premier, or the first sound, and he changes bowing lanes on like every note. But you know where he almost never plays? Over the fingerboard. That's one of the key takeaway concepts that I've gotten from his book series in 5 volumes. That's right, 5 volumes. Pay attention to your bowing lanes. Get your basses down where they need to be. Do you need to be that specific about the bowing played? Well, probably you don't need to be as neurotic about bow placement for second-year bass players, but they should know 2 things by their second year. Number 1, where to put their bow in first position. And number 2, where to put their bow in third position. And it's not over the fingerboard, all right? So make sure that their setups are good so that they can get their bow down where they need to be and make them play in a good bowing lane. All right, now, your bass players, if they're able to resonate now because they're playing in a good bowing lane and now everybody has a quality sound to tune to, we can move up in the orchestration and start working on the rest of the ensemble. Violists and cellists have a lot of stuff on the G string. And how much time have they spent on the G string thus far in their playing career, in their method books? A page or 2 in the book? Can they make good tone on the G string? Can they get some weight on the G string? Can they make crunchy sounds? Can they activate the string to articulate? Violins, guess what? They also have notes on the G string too. Can they make tone? Can they add weight? Can you get them to bend the string with their bow hair? Okay, you got it now, right? So let's add the left hand. We need 2 finger patterns on the G string for Crossing Pirates Cove, the major and minor patterns. We have mostly minor patterns, but the violas do have a B natural in measure 31. So make sure you learn that one too. Do you have that issue where when you isolate the finger patterns and they play really well in tune, but the minute you start playing on the G string in the music, they start playing out of tune? Why is that? It's usually because their left-hand string crossings aren't as good as they could be. In Season 5, Episode 6, I have a demonstration video on how I teach left-hand string crossing with an exercise that I call Skittles that will teach you shoulder rotation for all the instruments. Okay, so if you need to know that, go back and review that. It'll have some fun exercises that your students can do in class to help them with their left-hand position as they cross strings. You can also do elbow swings to work on flexibility with your violinists and violists if their shoulders are stiff, and that'll help with their flexibility to get them onto the G string. When you go back in your concert music, and this is the hardest thing to do for your students because they want to go, go, go when intonation gets really bad. Like for instance, in measure 66 here, the tonality changes and you have to stop. You can't just let them get used to the out-of-tune sounds or you'll ruin their ears. And you'll also ruin your ears. If you want more detail on intonation and key concepts on how to get your orchestra playing in tune this year, please check out Season 1, Episode 3. If you've got what you need, great. I'll see you in my next video about ringtones.